Hello everyone, back tuning in to today's video, doing JMA Friday today, having a look at the weather for the coming month with these Japanese and CFS V2 models. Running a bit late with today's video, sorry about that. So we're going to have a look at JMA first of all, then I'll have a look at CFS V2. Now it's going to take us well into October with this update. We're going to the second half of October, so we'll see what the long range models are showing for the second month of the autumn. Before I get on with that, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles on the pages. Have a browse widgets, click through links if there's any articles that you're interested in. Thanks so much for doing that. This video adds to most pages. They open up content. When you watch a close back up again, it does help to pay begadswellvids.com. So start off with the JMA. These are the 500 heights broken down into weekly periods. From the North Pole down, this is the pole up here, this is the UK down here, America is over here, and Asia is over here somewhere. So 500 millibars, 80,000 feet is an area in the atmosphere where high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Blue extrapolates to low pressure, and yellow, orange and red extrapolates to high pressure. So for the coming week, this takes us from the 23rd today through to the 30th of September. We find below average heights to the north. We've got a ridge down to the south-southwest, and the jet streams coming through the country like that. So it looks quite changeable for the coming week, and fairly unsettled, particularly so for the north, less so for the south. But all places will get some rain at times, I think, with that distribution of pressure through the coming week. Week 2 looks like this. This takes us from the 30th of September through to 7th of October. We find, again, we've got a ridge down to the southwest of the country, so off the coast of Spain and Portugal. Trough of low pressure is through Scandinavia and also to the north and northeast of the UK. The jet stream, again, is going something like that. It's aligned a little bit northwest to southeast, so we could be putting in some slightly cooler air there for the start of September. Notice quite a lot of blocking over top of the pole. That isn't impact us directly. It's not giving us northerly winds, but it is aligning things between this ridge down here around Spain and the trough up to the north and northeast. It is aligning the jet stream a little bit northwest southeast, so I think that could be a slightly cooler week there to start October. And then we go through to weeks 3 and 4, which takes us from the 7th through to 21st of October. The idea with this one is that we're building a ridge out to west of the UK and also sending it up towards Greenland. So there are hints of a bit of northern blocking there with high pressure doing something like that. There's no trough to the east, but you would have thought with above average heights here and down here, you would have thought there's probably going to be some sort of low pressure just here around Scandinavia. And in between the two, you will think that we're probably bringing in northerly winds. So that could be quite cool there for the middle part of October. You have to read between the lines a little bit with these extended charts from the JMA. They don't always tell you the whole story. I do think we could see a trough over Scandinavia, and between the trough and the ridge, we might pull down some northerly influences, which of course in middle of October could be really quite cool. So that's how the Northern Hemisphere view looks. What about mid-latitude view? And this shows us the temperature and precipitation anomalies for the next month as well. So coming back to week 1, the 23rd through to 30th of September, remember what's happening is that there's a ridge down to the southwest, low pressure is in the Atlantic, and the jet stream is coming through the country pretty much like that. It's going for a milder than average week. Temperature anomalies are coming out above average in the south, nearer normal to the north and west. The temperature scale is around 1 to 2 degrees above average, so quite a warmish end to September on what has been a very warm month, of course. Precipitation anomalies are coming out wetter than average, so warm and wet really sums it up from the JMA for the next week. We go through to week 2, very similar setup. Again, the ridge is down to the southwest, low pressure is up here, and if you come over to this side of the chart, also going down there, which probably aligns things. We thought a little bit northwest to southeast with the jet stream doing something like that. When you get a north-south, northwest-southeast trajectory with the jet stream, you often pull in some slightly cooler air. So the temperature anomalies are cooling a little bit, but still generally signalled to be a little bit above average. So perhaps not quite as cool as I was thinking. So around average, a little bit above for that week, the 30th of September to the 7th of October. Precipitation, because the ridge is building to the southwest and west, precipitation isn't as wet through that first week of October. It's closer to normal, maybe in the south, a little bit drier than average. And then we go through to weeks 3 and 4. That's when we've got the ridge out to west. And you can't see Greenland with these charts, but Greenland is up here somewhere. So there's a ridge through there. And we thought that might be sending the flow into a northerly. Temperature anomalies are still holding up. They're not going cooler than average. With these longer range models, you do find sometimes they overcook the temperatures a little bit. So I would have thought in the sort of setup it's going for, with particularly cool nights, that ridge out to west, we would probably be finding ourselves going a bit cooler than average through those 2 weeks. Remember, it is a 2-week anomaly, so it could be something like week 3 is a little bit warmer than average, week 4 coming towards the second half of the month. That week could be a bit cooler than average. Average it all out, it might still come out a little bit above average, but because it's a 2-week anomaly, sometimes have to take into account that it's not representative, perhaps, of the entire 2 weeks. Precipitation anomalies, a little bit wetter than average in the north and east of the UK, interestingly, but west and southwest a little bit drier than average. So again, that implies there's a trough up there. It didn't show it on the 500 millibar heights, but I think there is a trough over Scandinavia. I think the winds will be coming in from the north, and I would have thought that's going to be quite a cool middle part of October. Let's see what the CFS V2 is showing. So again, these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. The first week period taken us from the 23rd, 29th of September. Very, very similar to what the JMA is doing. So we've got below average heights, low pressure to the north, ridging down to the south and the southwest. The jet stream is coming through the country like that. It looks quite unsettled and changeable, particularly unsettled for the north and west. Drier in the southeast, but even in the southeast, I think from that kind of setup, we will get some rain at times. We move through to week 2, sorry, I'm just trying to fall a little bit, week 2, which takes us from the 30th of September through the 6th of October, and that one shows the ridge building up from the south a bit. So now we're diverging from what the JMA is doing. We're starting to build this ridge up from the south. The jet stream going something like that, so it places us back on the warm side of the jet there. That could be a little bit of a warmer, drier spell for the early part of October, maybe a bit of an Indian summer there. Week 3, 7th to 13th of October, that one shows the ridge more or less centred over UK, so quite a dry first half to October, if this is right. Again, all the low pressure, all the troughs are up to the north, and the flows going like that, so we're still on the warm side of a jet stream. Have to consider it's October, so the nights are getting increasingly long, of course. Under this ridge, it's likely to be, I would have thought, warm, mostly dry by day. By night, it could be quite cold. There could be mist and fog, maybe even ground frost as well. So, a lot of dry weather, though, for the first half of October, if that's right. And then, quite interesting, we go through to week 4, which is the 14th, 20th of October. And it is sort of coming into what the JMA is doing, in that the above average heights appear to be centering themselves out to the west of the UK. No trough over Scandinavia, but presumably there would be a trough up there, and you would have thought that the flow's going something like that. So again, ring between the lines, second half of October perhaps turns cooler or even colder and more unsettled. Although there isn't a huge amount to play with in terms of what the heights are showing that week 4 anomaly. Temperature anomalies for the next week come out warmer than average, and also going through to week 2, this is the first week of October, again warmer than average week coming up there. as well. It carries on for week 3 with temperatures again. Seems to be warm on average, 17th to 13th of October. Very warm autumn, if this is right, or very warm first after autumn, if this is right. Week 4 does go closer to average. Still hints at being a bit above average even then, but it is lowering the anomaly from the 14th to 20th of October. Finally, precipitation. The coming week looks wetter than average, significantly so for the north and west, nearer normal elsewhere. Week 2, again, wetter than average for Scotland, a bit drier than average for England and Wales, so a real north-south split setting up with the rainfall. We go through to week 3, and that seems to be drier than average for England and Wales, nearer normal elsewhere. And then week 4, starting to lose a signal probably, but it's going towards average. And I would have thought if there's a trough being centred over Scandinavia to the east, but it might be a bit wetter than average in the north and the east of the country. So it appears that the model is indicating fairly warm conditions to continue even into October, in very warm September. Of course, it looks like we're going to keep quite warm conditions into October, although we do have to think about cooler nights increasingly under high pressure. The days will be quite warm in any sunshine, but under clear skies at night in October, it is going to start getting quite cold. But it looks like overall the temperatures are holding up, leading to the middle part of October, when I've got a feeling, read between the lines of the CFS and the JMA, we might start to bring down a northerly influence, and that could be significantly colder for middle and second half of October. But that's the extended range of this, and isn't, of course, to be relied upon. Nearer term, so rest of September looks like being quite changeable, particularly for the north and west, but I think even in the southeast there will be a little bit of rain at times. Temperatures closer to average compared to what we've had through early September, but still a bit warmer than average. Early October, probably quite warm to start off with, and a lot of dry weather, and then we may get something colder and more unsettled perhaps around the middle part of the month. Remember, long-range forecasting is highly experimental. It's not to be relied upon. These models are pushing the boundaries of what is possible in terms of forecasting. So just a heads up of what the models are showing, but don't be necessarily running away with the idea about the things that you see in this update. Exactly how things are going to play out. Tomorrow we're going to do weekend forecast with tried and tested short-range models. So come back for that tomorrow afternoon. In the evening tomorrow we'll have a 6-month look ahead with the Beijing Climate Centre. First time we've done that. The Beijing Climate Centre has a big upgrade. It's got monthly anomaly charts as well as the regular seasonal anomaly charts that we've always used. So we'll have a look at next 6 months with Beijing Climate Centre tomorrow evening. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching.